guys, I'm Chalena. This is Quinn.
How's it going?
And this is Mysteries at the Coffee Shop. As you can see, this is definitely not Courtney. Yeah. It looks,
Last I checked.
looks vastly different. So Courtney is out right now. She's having some health issues, so she's just going to come back whenever she's ready. My husband is going to fill in, and we may find a temporary podcast host to fill in as well if it works out. You know, we may add a third podcast host, but it really just depends. So let's just get into today's case. We are going to go over the case of the fast food killer, Paul Dennis Reid. And he is a notorious serial killer.
Yeah.
He's a killer. He's a notorious serial killer who did most of his murdering in Nashville, Tennessee. I am going to start from the very beginning with his early life, which is honestly super fucked up. But, not because his life was fucked up. I mean, his life seemed like the average kid's life, but he was fucked up.
He's had a bad time.
He gave himself a bad fucking time. I don't know why he's complaining. Okay. Anyways, from the very beginning, before he was even created. So, Joseph Marie, aka Joni, was his mother. She came from a family of German and Spaniard immigrants who were really hardworking and traditional. Unfortunately for Joni, her mother was reportedly very abusive. So at the age of 16, she moved to Chicago. And this was assuming she left to leave her home life. I mean, you're 16 years old, you want to make your own decisions to your family. Your mother's abusive, your family's very traditional. You want a taste of living. So she goes and moves out to Chicago, but unfortunately her boyfriend at the time, pimped her out.
Oh.
Yeah, he pimped her out. I guess he just took advantage of how young she was.
That's not uncommon for a lot of third world countries.
She wasn't in a third world country, though. She was in the U.S.
Oh, shit.
I said she moved to Chicago. Where is there a Chicago?
I don't know.
She moved to Chicago, and Chicago in the U.S. And her boyfriend pimped her out there, which is unfortunately really sad, and it does happen a lot. I mean, older men just take advantage of these very young girls. She did get out of that situation, though, and she left him and moved to Fort Worth, Texas, where she met Paul Reid Sr. Now, was Paul Reid Sr. any better than the last man?
Just in general?
In general?
Oh, like her previous. Probably not. People in those relationships tend to find someone that almost does the same.
It's a cycle.
It just happens.
It's a cycle. Yeah.
Also, with that previous shit with Chicago, I didn't hear that part. So
Okay.
I was like, oh, she must be out there in the fucking sticks.
No!
I get it if that's where it's happening, but not,
It's a sad situation either way, but this was in the U.S.
Yeah, I didn't catch that at all. It went right over my fucking head.
So, she met Paul Reid Sr. in Fort Worth, Texas. When they met, he was working as a security guard and a private investigator. He also made extra income repossessing cars, even though he didn't have a car of his own. So,
I mean, if you got the tow truck, I imagine you probably wouldn't need it.
No, he didn't have a tow truck.
How the fuck was he repossessing cars?
He would take the bus to wherever the car was and repossess the car and then drive it back to Fort Worth, Texas.
He was just stealing them. He was like, I got a court order and I can just take your shit. I don't need a tow truck.
I'm just curious as how to he repossessed the car, because what do you just go up to the doors I'm here to take your car?
Oh, I bet they had a second key at least. How else would he go? He's not gonna go and mug him for the key.
You don't know.
He might, but it's kind of funny that they didn't give him a tow truck. Or I mean, I don't know how prevalent they were then, but they're just I don't know, man. Go fucking steal some cars that we need.
I don't know, man. So yeah, that's what he would do to get extra cash, is he would repossess cars. So these 3 jobs kept him from home a lot. So he was basically never there, and he never made enough money from them. Like, they were pay by the jobs. They weren't hourly or anything. So he never had enough money. And even though he never had enough money, he definitely had enough for alcohol. So yeah, Paul Sr. was an alcoholic. So anytime he was home, he wasn't actually home and spending time with the kids and his wife. He was drinking. Mm. So that's really unfortunate when you have an alcoholic dad and he's just absent. He's there, but he's absent. So, Joni and Paul did what any couple in the South normally does when they're like, I got problems, you got problems. So what did they do? They had a baby.
Oh yeah, that's still true today, for sure.
Yeah, but they had not 1, not 2, but 3. So they had Linda, who was born in 1952, Janet, born in 1955, and then Paul Jr., born November 12th, 1957. So he had, apparently a very turbulent childhood. Not that I know if he remembers anything before the age of 3, but when he was born, they thought he was going to be perfect, that he had, this thick, dark hair and these dark eyes. He was a cute little boy. Unfortunately, he was born with a malformation on his left ear. They don't really know why, but doctors speculate that this may be due to possible brain damage on his left temporal lobe.
How did they get all that from just his ear being... Is it just because it was developed wrong?
Bro,
They're
I don't
like,
know.
his brain is fucked.
I don't...
They know.
I don't know, but I think they said this after a couple years of him being alive, not when he not when he was immediately born. They're like, your kid is screwed.
They're like, yeah, his ears are fucked. He's retarded. Sorry.
No, quit. No, that's not what they said. But anyways, they suspected this because he was developmentally delayed. So from the ages of 5 to 9 months, he wasn't really reaching his milestones like he's supposed to. Don't ask me what those milestones are because I don't have children, so I don't.
It's true.
We don't have kids. I can tell you what the puppy milestones are. As for children, I don't quite know. He was walking at 18 months, spoke at 24, and he didn't combine words until he was 36 months, which you guys can let me know whether or not that's the average normal. I could not tell you.
It'd be pretty wild if we had animals that started speaking at 36 months. Otherwise, we'd be able to compare, but nope.
So, in 1960, when he was 3 years old, his parents divorced. So his mom couldn't afford to keep all 3 children, so she said, yeah, I can only keep 1. So she took Linda, and then Paul Sr. took Janet and Paul Jr. So that's kind of, I don't know. I feel weird about that.
I feel like they lined up the kids and they were like, pick your favorite parent, and that's who you get to stay with.
That's messed up. So, the thing that's really sucked about that is Paul Sr. was still never home. It's like, all right, I got the kids now. I don't have a wife. Yep, I'm out seas. So he was still working those 3 jobs and never home. So, of course, naturally, he dumped the 2 children on his mother, who awkwardly does have the same name as his wife.
Oh.
Named Josephine Marie Reid.
That's too close. I feel like he jumped somewhere down on the family tree.
No.
That's way too coincidental.
So Josephine Marie Reid was a simple woman. She was a devout Catholic, and she was very old-fashioned. So, she expected the children to be behaved and do what she told them to do. And what really sucks about that is, she dumped these 2 children on her, and she was in her 70s. She was too old to be taking care of children. And on top of that, she was taking care of her mother, which is Paul Jr.'s great-grandmother, on top of these 2 children who she was expected to clothe, raise, and feed. That is too much.
Bro, in her 70s, at that time, she's got to be wearing some diapers. She's like, I gotta change my fucking self. I can't take care of y'all.
I know. It really sucks. So he shouldn't have drop them off there. That is too much. But she also didn't have much money to clothe or feed them to begin with. And, of course, like, her son, like, was just never there, so... But, you know, despite those challenges, raising Paul... Never mind Janet, okay? Raising Paul, just Paul, was very, very hard on her. He loved to torture his grandmother. Like, that was probably his favorite pastime. So, yeah, he liked to put tacks in her food. Yep, there was that.
Oh.
He would barricade her in her room, so basically she would go in her room to get something, and he would take the furniture, right? And he would just line it up against her bedroom door, and she couldn't get out.
She's 70. She's not getting out of there.
That was the idea for him. He was like, ha, I locked your ass in there.
That's so fucked up.
It's super fucked up. Oh, also, she's like super old, right? And they get cold really. He sprayed her with the water hose until she cried.
Oh.
Yeah, that's like super mean. And the worst part is that one time she was taking a nap on the couch and she woke up and was like, wow, it smells really smoky in here. He set the blanket that she was using to take a nappy nap on fire. He tried to set her on fire.
He's like, you're cold, bitch. Here you go.
Yeah.
Dude.
He was a fucking
that was
menace.
A fucking nightmare child.
Oh.
That was that not around the time where they could have been like, he's probably mentally insane, send his ass out? That was probably late. Way too late.
This was before the age of 8, so no. He was just considered a really bad kid and a menace. Yeah.
Send his ass in the loony bin.
I mean, like, it wasn't just his grandmother that he tortured. He was also mean to the neighborhood children. So, like, he would break their toys on purpose in front of their eyes. And not only that, he would break his own toys. So, he just was, I don't know, he was just full of so much rage. So, naturally, the neighborhood kids did not like him, and when he was 5 years old, another child threw a brick at the back of his head.
It was deserved.
Yeah,
It was deserved.
Yeah. So, this is when it starts getting really messed up. I mean, honestly, he almost set her on fire, which is super messed up, but another messed up thing is that his grandmother had this cute little black dog, and she went out into the living room one day, and it was a bloodbath. She found her little dog on the floor, and Paul had taken a baseball bat and beat this dog unrecognizably into a bloody pulp.
What the fuck?
I mean, yeah, and then the goldfish weren't safe either. He would scoop them out of the tank and fillet them.
They're not even good eating. It's not even like
he just wanted to cut them open. Yeah, he was super messed up. Yeah, he was not a good kid. And then he also like tortured the neighbors too. Like all their mail, he would steal it out of the mailbox. He would steal their clothes off the clothesline. I don't know why. Like that was something to steal, but he would steal their clothes off the clothesline. And sometimes when his grandmother went to the grocery store, he would steal purses. So like at the age of 4, he did run off and steal some woman's purse. But
his grandma's just like, oh, yep, that's Paul. Oh, Paul.
Oh no, she would like punish him, but the problem is with her being so old, he would just climb up a tree or climb on the roof and she could never get to him.
Yeah.
Because he was a little shithead. So there's that. You know, she didn't really get a break until he started going to school when he was 7 years old, and she wasn't able to sign him up for school. She didn't have a car, so, and then his dad wasn't there, so it was actually one of his stepmothers signed him up for school with Janet, and, you know, he had a really hard time, and within the first few months, the school psychologist diagnosed him with a learning disability. I mean, he got hit in the head with a brick, so, like, that doesn't surprise me.
Should have been, like, 10 more.
With what he does as an adult, I think about that all the time. So Josephine's last straw was when Paul threw a salt shaker at her head and it lacerated her ear. And at that time, she called the Catholic priest, and the Catholic priest told her, "You have to get him out of your house. He is going to kill you."
Oh, okay, but like any sane person would have said that. A priest, I thought he was gonna come back with a. He's got a fucking demon in him. We gotta take care of that.
I mean, I'm sure he does. So her response was to send him to Burnett Baylor Boys' Home in Houston, Texas, at 8 years old. After about 1 year at the home, Joni received a call from the school. Joni, her mother, received a call from the school because they needed a signature to release him into state custody for adoption. She was super surprised by this. And, you know, she was like, "Hey, what the hell? I thought, like, my husband was taking care of him." She goes to the school, you know, and he's in the hospital bed. I think I'd probably got into a fight or something. I don't remember. But they were like, "Hey, Paul, do you know this woman?" And Paul was like 9 years old at the time. He looked at Joni. He had not seen her since he was 3, and he lied and said yes because he just wanted to get out of there. So Joni did end up taking him home. Now, his mother was really kind and caring, and she was very hardworking. So naturally, you know, as a Southern mother, what do you get your 12-year-old as a Christmas present?
I have no idea.
A mini bike.
Mm.
Guess what he did with the mini bike?
I'd like to know.
He was showing off and he fractured his skull.
Damn. That's what he gets for being arrogant.
This is I guess this is technically the 3rd claim of brain damage.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't understand why you would get him a mini bike, but, you know, I bet it was fun.
I wonder how much she heard of, like, what he did to his grandma.
I'm not sure. I don't think, because she actually hadn't heard, she didn't want anything to do with her ex-husband, and she didn't want to hear from the Reids at all, so I don't think she talked to him at all.
Yeah, she probably didn't know anything. So she was like, "Who's a good boy? Here's a bike." And he's like, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna go commit Grand Theft Auto or some crazy shit like that."
I mean, yeah, well, they did notice, I'm sure the school told her what was going on, and they did have him on behavioral medication, and it did help for a little bit. I don't know how long it did help, but it obviously did not help for long.
Yeah.
So since she took him home, basically his academic life, like his childhood, his teenage life, it was basically, he struggled really hard in academics, but excelled in sports. So he always had friends. He made a lot of friends, actually. So his mother actually managed an exclusive restaurant, and she let Paul work there when he was about 12 years old. He started, like, you know, cleaning the dishes, stocking them, whatever, like, because I guess she wanted to teach him responsibility. They rented an apartment in the Houston house, and that's where he cleaned the tables at Club Castile. So he has a history with restaurants. He started when he was young.
Yeah.
In that same building, there is also a nightclub called the Little Club, where he would bring ice to, and what he would do at night, I don't know where he got the keys. I think he swiped them. I don't know. But at night, he would lock the doors and throw teenage parties for free.
Oof. I mean, if they didn't have, like, that kind of history like he had, like, I'm sure most would have done that in their situation if they had the opportunity. But, like, there's always got to be something with this guy, with what he's done. Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, but also that's how he made his friends, and he did, you know, in exchange, the kids were like, "Hey, you want to come over to my parents' house?" And they were, like, these really beautiful, like, condos and stuff. Like, he had friends, like, which is surprising, because, like, apparently he was really mean, but, like, not to these people. I think the thing about him was, like, he wasn't bad looking, but he also wasn't, like, the best looking, so it seemed surprising.
Yeah. Well, you could also be a little more unhinged as, like, a kid, like, in elementary school age, because you're not necessarily worried about, like, your public identity when you're in elementary school, but when you're kind of older as a teenager, you still see these people outside of, like, school and stuff rather than elementary school.
Yeah, he also might have learned his lesson after that brick to the back of the head.
Yeah, they would have beat his ass in high school.
Oh, yeah.
And it would have been a lot worse than a brick to the back of the head.
That is probably true. So, his history with working in these restaurants, eventually he did start working in the kitchen at the little nightclub. And this, he started out washing more dishes, stocking, actually scrubbing the kitchen floor. But the chefs taught him how to cook. So he eventually did make his way up to cook. So, his childhood, sounds nice and dandy. You get the perks of your mama working at an exclusive club. But it really wasn't that nice and dandy because he really was racking up a juvenile record, and he did steal a car, actually. He did do Grand Theft Auto.
Was it when he got the bike?
It was a little after the bike.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna go fucking steal a car. I knew it.
Yeah, no, he did commit Grand Theft Auto. But, after all of that, at the age of 16, he attempted to sexually assault his mother and his sister. So, his mother did the best thing that she could, which was to kick him out of her house.
Oh, yeah.
100%. He had nowhere to go, so he just went back to his dad's house. And he eventually got kicked out of that house for attempting to sexually assault his sister, Janet. She was the one that kicked him out of the apartment and said, hey, don't ever come back.
Yeah.
Now, at 16 years old, you're like, well, where did he go? So, what he did was he dated these older, beautiful women and essentially became a sugar baby. Yeah,
Well, this would put him at what? In the 70s?
Yeah.
Somewhere in there?
Yeah, was that a thing in the 70s?
I feel like at 16 in the 70s, you could probably still get around and not have too much of an issue. You couldn't do that shit nowadays.
Well, because, that's, I don't know if, he was dead. I mean, he was a kid. Mm-hmm. And, that's kind of messed up. But I think he, did that purposely so that he could get the income. And he always bragged about being with these older, beautiful women and having the money and having the cash. So, I think that was his idea so that he could have some sort of income and, have a place to stay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was the motive. And, of course, the older women were just yeah, you're, super cute. You're cute. Let me just,
Yeah, I mean, they could obviously use him for, whatever they wanted, and he's cool with it because he's getting something out of it.
Yeah, I guess so. I still think it's a little messed up and wrong because, as an older adult woman, you should not be having sex and dating a 16-year-old, but that's besides the point. That's just history. I don't know what the situation was, but that's why he did it, was to, get the bragging rights. He just liked older women and, get the money. So, eventually, he became a security guard for a bank. This was when he was an adult. He didn't really finish high school. I think he just got his GED, and then he eventually became a security guard for a bank where he met his first wife, Jessica Neal. Their relationship was turbulent, very toxic, and friends recall that he would just lock her in the house and leave.
Oh.
Yeah, she would have, no way out. And during this time, he would commit various robberies and more Grand Theft Auto. So, in 1982, he was charged with robbing 4 restaurants and a hardware store. In 1984, he would sign divorce papers and then go to prison. Yeah, he was sentenced to 20 years. So...
That's kind of wild. Did he serve out 20 years?
No.
I figured.
Yeah, so... Listen to his stay in prison. So during his stay in prison, he would still terrorize his sisters. So his mom...
Hold on. Did he just send them strongly worded letters?
Did he send them a letter that said, once I get out, you're taco meat?
What the fuck?
He did. Yeah, he was still not nice to them. And then also, he assaulted the hospital staff and then the prison staff. He assaulted everyone. Nice. He was not a nice guy. I mean, he still made friends in prison, but, he gave them advice about robbing and stuff. And he told other prisoners, the next time I do it, I'm doing it right. I'm not leaving any witnesses.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like premeditation. And they're like, we're not worried about this guy at all.
Yeah, he also wrote letters claiming that he was under state mind control, so if he does anything violent or crazy in the future, it was because he was under state mind control.
Hmm. One of those tinfoil hat guys, huh?
Yep. So, due to overcrowding issue in the prison, he only served 7 of his 20 years, and experts begged the state to not release him. They said, this man is dangerous. Do not release him. He is going to hurt someone. He's going to murder someone. And the state released him, despite...
They were like, yeah, you guys are experts. Fuck what you say. You guys aren't experts at all.
Yeah, basically, like, the prison was overcrowded, and they said, like, release him. We're gonna... Yeah, that was a problem. It's like, they didn't have room for him. So, 1 year after being released, he's a truck driver, right? He gets into a horrible truck driving accident where the wheels flip up and it literally sends his car flying and rolling.
Nice.
And he hits his head on the windshield and suffers some brain damage. Some more brain damage.
Like he needed more.
Unfortunately, like, I don't understand how you get hit with the brain damage 4 different times and it just... I don't know how... That's, like, very unlucky. Like, what are the odds, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, because of that accident, he got 2 years of workers' comp, and a $25,000 settlement.
Mm.
So guess what he does with that money?
What?
Yeah, you gotta guess.
Hookers a blow.
No.
That would have been better. It would have been better.
He gets dental work and plastic surgery.
Oh yeah, because everybody's gonna want to do that immediately. I mean, how fucked up was he after the crash? I mean, was his face in tatters or?
No, I mean he was fine.
Oh, he didn't need it. Oh, okay. He didn't need it.
He got dental work done. He got his ears pinned back. He wanted to look good because he had a new goal. He wanted to be a country singer star. And he,
you know, the brain damage explains a lot. It's like, all of a sudden I love country music.
Well, I mean, I did listen to some of his demos, and they really weren't that great. They weren't.
I bet they were bangers in almost 90 now?
I think
in the timeline?
The 70s?
Oh, still 70s?
80s? I don't... I didn't get a timeline.
I think you were probably in the 80s by this point.
Yeah. Yeah. So he got all of that work done, and then told everyone that his name was Justin Parks. And he moved to Nashville to pursue his country music star career. And reality hit 1 month later when he was working as a cook at a restaurant. He did not make it.
His dreams went down that fast, huh?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
I feel that.
So, because that did not work out for him, he went and did what he is known for now, which is being the fast food killer. So, now that we have his background over with, let's get into the unfortunate fast food murders. So, February 16th, 1997, at a Captain D's in Nashville, he went to the Captain D's at around... He went there early. He went there at like 8:15 in the morning.
That's wild, because, like, what person in their right mind is going to be like, yeah, this is normal. Before we open, let me go have this conversation. But, I mean, it's also something to say for the time. Like, 97 people are way too trusting.
I think so, because, like, he went up to the front of the store, and I don't know what he said for Steve, the manager, to let him in, but he let him in. So, 25-year-old Steve Hampton and 16-year-old Sarah Jackson were opening up that day, and they saw him at the door. You know, Steve goes to talk to him. He says whatever. He lets him in. And then, unfortunately, Paul pulls a gun and takes him to the fridge, where he tells them to lay down on the floor, like face on the floor, and he shoots Steve in the back of the head 3 to 4 times. Like, executioner style. And then he does the same thing to Sarah, who's only 16 years old. Right? So he he does that. Like, doesn't think fucking twice about it because he's an asshole. And he goes and takes all of the money out of the safe, yeah. So he's taking the money out of the safe, and then he hears a noise in the fridge, and it's Sarah, who hasn't died from the 3 shots in the back of her head, and she's trying to pull herself back up to save herself, and he just goes up and shoots her 3 more times and then fucking leaves.
That's wild. First of all, how bad of a shot he had to be to not, like, do anything after 3 shots to her.
I don't know.
I think it was like a 23 or 25 something caliber he was using.
Yeah, I think, but also, like, I'm very surprised because it was like, I mean, he shot them point blank. Yeah. And for her to be able to still get back up, I think that's just kind of, like, pure instinct and the will to live. Like, she was 16 years old. Like, she didn't want to die opening up at Captain D's. Like, you're a fucking asshole. Like, I just feel like he didn't have to do that. Yeah. Like, he could have just taken the money and left.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have to do it in the first place. He had the money. He could have just left him. But I think what he said before, where he was like, I'm not leaving witnesses next time, is where he was like, fuck it, I'm going to go through with it.
Yeah, because I think that's how he got caught last time. But, like, that's still, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So, Steve Hampton had worked for Captain D's for 5 years, and he finally worked his way up to manager. He had a family at home. Like, he had a wife and a kid, and then Sarah Jackson, she was 16 years old. Like, you have your whole life ahead of... She was 1 month away from her 17th birthday. 1 month away. And she was, like... They described her as a very vivacious girl. I just think, like... This guy is a serious asshole, and I hate him.
Yeah. At least he had the decency to do it before they opened. Because, like, could you imagine if they did that at the end of the shift? Like, you're pissed off because you just worked all day doing fast food of, you know, nothing else. And that's when that shit happens?
Dude, that's... I mean, like, it sucks either way, though. Yeah. Like, I can't imagine. And, like, that's just very painful. Because you just want to get the day over with. You want to go home. You want to see your family. And for someone to just come in and say, I don't give a shit. You're not a person to me. I'm going to take this money is really fucked up. Yeah. So, 11 days after that, on February 27th, Paul's manager at Shoney's, Mitch Roberts, fires him. Paul goes fucking ballistic. He loses it. He hurls a dish at the tiniest employee there and barely misses her head. Like, it was a big-ass dish, too. Like, he just... and yeeted it straight at her, which, like, I don't even think she was part of the conversation. I think she was just fucking walking by, minding her business.
What a fucking dick. It's like he's doing what he was doing when he was a kid. He's just like, I'm going to pick on you because I can. But didn't the police say at some point where they had a decent description of him and they confirmed that it was someone that looked like him? And they were like, that's probably him. And then they were like, we'll wait and see what happens.
I think so. But also, like, this dude was like 6 foot tall. Like, why did you throw at the tiniest employee? Like, that's fucking asshole. Anyways, he didn't understand why he was fired, but I have a hankering that it might be because of his attitude.
Yeah, probably.
On March 23rd, 1997, he commits the McDonald's murders. So, Paul heads to McDonald's where he finds 4 employees working in the back. He takes them. I don't know how he gets in. He finds a way to... I think he just walks in near the end of the night, right?
Well, I think it was... they were leaving, and then he rounded them up in the parking lot and brought their asses back in.
No!
Yeah. So it's like you're in the home stretch, bro. Like, as soon as you get in that car, day's over. You don't have to worry about anything but the car ride home. And he's like, get the fuck out, let's go.
Yeah, so unfortunately that night... they find 4 employees in the back room shot executioner style the same way that Sarah and Steve were shot. So the 4 employees were 17-year-old Andrea Brown, an academic who loved books, 27-year-old Ronaldo Santiago. He was a hardworking father who left his wife and his child in Puerto Rico to provide a better life for them, and 23-year-old Robert Sewell, a science fiction fanatic who loved to build models. And then Jose. Jose.
Dude,
I
every Hispanic person that ever watches this is gonna be like, I will smack the shit out of you if you say it like that again.
I'm sorry, I just read it really fast.
Jose.
Jose. So they find the 4 employees. The 4th employee actually was not shot. His name was Jose Gonzalez, and he was stabbed 17 times. So basically what had happened was, Paul executioner style shoots the 3. He gets to Jose, and the gun jams. So Jose takes that opportunity and fights him. He tries to fight the gun out of his hands. However, Paul has a backup plan. He has a knife, and he stabs him 17 times. Right? After those stabs, he goes and he gets the money out of the safe, which is all coins. It's $2,500 worth of coins.
But that's actually an insane amount of coins.
Yeah, he basically takes them, lugs those to his car and leaves. Meanwhile, the entire time, Jose is playing dead on the floor. As soon as Paul leaves, he calls 911. He calls 911. And they get there, and he is still breathing. Andrea is still breathing. They get taken to the hospital. Andrea is pronounced brain dead in the morning. And they unplug her. Mm-hmm. So, and Jose, he's in the ICU. He's on life support. He actually makes it, and he survives the attack. He survives long enough. He's still alive. I don't know why I said that. He survives and helps with the case that gets him arrested. Yeah.
Which I think they mentioned he is actually the only survivor in all of this.
He is, unfortunately. And unfortunately, it was also only his 3rd day on the job.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine first week that shit happens. That'd be insane. And then, like I said, he waited until the very end of the night to round everybody up and go do all that.
That's when they're at their most vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I think that's really fucked up. He knew.
Yeah.
He knew. He was like, hey, all the employees are leaving. I can gather them in the parking lot. It's such a fucked up ideology. Is to catch them either at the very beginning of their day or the very end of their day.
Yeah.
When there's not going to be any customers there, where there's going to be no witnesses. It's fucked.
Yeah, he's a real piece of shit for that.
He knew what he was doing. And at all of these crime scenes, he did not leave a fucking fingerprint. Right? He's just a major... take a shot every time we call him an asshole. During that, you will be belligerently drunk. So, April 23rd, 1997, at a Baskin-Robbins, Paul kidnaps 2 female employees. 16-year-old Michelle Mace is just a fun-loving high school girl who wanted to be a writer. She loved photography. And then 21-year-old Angela Holmes, who's a manager at the Baskin-Robbins. She's the evening manager. She left behind a husband and a 3-month-old baby. She had a 4.0 GPA at a prestigious college where she was studying to be a surgical nurse. So, they're closing up for the night, and basically Angela sees this man at the door. The door's already locked. She walks up. She's like, hey, what are you doing here? Mm-hmm. And he threatens her with the knife, and he forces his way in, and she's like, please, I have a baby. And he corrals him into his car, and they get kidnapped. So Michelle's brother, comes up to, he pulls up to the Baskin-Robbins because he's picking up Michelle, and she's not walking to the car. He's super confused. So he walks inside, and the door is open. He walks around the store, and there's nobody there. He's like, what the fuck is happening? He starts making phone calls everywhere. And that night, the police are afraid that they are the victims of the fast food killer. So they search and search and search for them. And unfortunately, was it a day later or a couple days later?
It was the next morning.
It was the next morning. A man is walking his dog, and the dog starts barking at something in the lake. They go up, and the man realizes that it is a body. The body was proven to be Angela Holmes. Her hands were tied behind her back, and her neck was slit.
Yeah.
And then 100 feet away, they find Michelle Mace's body, whose neck is also slit. And the medical examiner was like, these women died very slow and painful deaths. They did not die from initial stab wounds.
Yeah.
They slowly bled to death, and Angela, like, I think basically he slit her throat, tied her up, and just threw her in the fucking lake. And he didn't treat, like, he just left them there like trash. And they weren't. They were people. Like, it was super fucked up.
Yeah, what a piece of shit. At least, like, with the gunshots, it's the decency of putting you down on the first, one or two. But, like, to take your time with it, which you could no doubt, I'm sure he did.
I mean, there's no way around it. Like, he murdered all these people, like, brutally, relentlessly. Yeah. Like, they were so scared. They were so scared. I know they were. Like, that's some fucked up shit over some petty cash.
Right.
Like, fucking $2,000 worth of coins. Like, that's nothing in comparison to, like, lives. Like, that's fucked up. I literally had to stop multiple times while researching this because I just felt, like, pure rage. Like, I promise you, if I ever go to hell, I don't know if I will or not, but if I go to hell and I see this man is on fucking sight, I will kick his ass for the rest of eternity. I fucking hate him that much. Like,
yeah.
I do. God. I hate him. So on June 1st, 1997, Paul shows up at Mitch Roberts' house, begging for his old job at Shoney's back. So, Mitch is like, yo, what the fuck? No, you're not getting your old job back. And he, walks him back to his car. And Paul pulls a gun on him. He gives him handcuffs. He's like, put this on. Mitch was like, oh, hell no. And he runs back into his house and tries to lock him out. He uses a scare tactic, yelling for his wife to grab the gun, even though they don't have a gun.
I mean, it works.
Yeah.
Especially if they get stuck outside and they're kind of, like, left to their own thoughts.
Yeah. So, Paul flees, and it worked. He gets back in his car and drives away. So, Mitch calls 911. He calls the police there. He's recounting what all has happened. And his son actually records the whole thing because, like, right when Paul knocked at the door, he was recording, like, just a family memory of them hanging out with, like, the dogs on the couch and the kids. Right? So, he's telling the police what has happened and what's going on. And, funny enough, Paul calls on the phone just a few minutes later to apologize. I don't know how you could... I don't know how you call back after that. You're like, my bad.
He's like, oh, now I'm guilty. Oh, my God. Now I need to call. Couldn't finish the job. Gotta call him and be like, hey, man, sorry. I'll be back tomorrow.
Like, yeah, so Mitch, like, he coaxes him back to his house. Mm-hmm. He somehow, I don't know how he does it, but he's like...
Well, you could keep in mind the police are there at the same time, so they're probably telling him, hey, tell him to come back. We'll just take him now.
Right, and so Paul does come back, and he gets arrested. So Mitch, he is pushing for, like, more serious charges. Mm-hmm. Because he has a sneaking suspicion that Paul is actually the fast food killer, and his suspicions were right. So police go to investigate his apartment, and they find 4 one-gallon jugs full of coins, all worth $1,000. Right, that doesn't sound as suspicious, but then they find the pair of shoes that have blood on the bottom of them, so that DNA tests and comes back as Michelle and Angela's.
Yeah, but also, like, that's a lot of coins. And I checked. Fucking Cornstar was around at the time. He could have cleaned that out. It would have been easy.
I mean, that I don't know if the jugs were as suspicious as the blood on the bottom of his shoes.
Well, no, but it's still a lot of coins, and they knew kind of what he got a hold of. But I'm just saying, like, he could have gotten rid of that shit and, brought home the money.
Bro, I don't know.
I'm just saying. Maybe I would have been better for this. I don't know.
No, you never want to do any of this. Okay, so, yeah, those sneakers were significant evidence for him. And then they investigated his car as well, his red Ford Escort, and they found fibers in there that matched the fibers from Michelle and Angela's clothes. So, they have, like, the TSI, Tennessee, or TBI?
TBI.
Yeah. TBI, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, are racking up a pretty good case against him.
Yeah.
What's funny is that I read that one of his sisters said that he wasn't confident enough to make decisions and stuff, so he was trying to say that he was trying to do the insanity plea. But again, like, this was all premeditated. So, you know, if you're doing the insanity plea, I would think that a lot of the crimes that you commit would be like spur of the moment rage.
Right.
And not premeditated. All of these were premeditated.
Right. And then I think there was a thing that I saw where they caught someone matching his description in the McDonald's the night before he did that shit. And then he also called into the Shoney's job that same morning. So it was like more than likely he would have been the person that checked it out the night before it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So people were just like, that, Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Janet was, like, you know, fighting for him. I think she was just there to say, like, yeah, he is pretty fucking, like, not confident. Like, he's pretty crazy.
I mean, nobody wants their siblings to go through some stuff like that, but, like, if you kind of have a beyond a reasonable doubt that they did something like that, then you kind of be like, okay, well, you get what you deserve, you know?
Yeah,
regardless of family.
Well, I think they just asked her to go up there and say, like, if you think your brother's competent to stand trial, and she was like, honestly, I really don't.
Yeah.
But he did do those things, and he should do time for them. Now, I know that Tennessee, like, at one point had him lined up for execution, and then he had everything set up, and he, like, chickened out of it.
Yeah, I don't know how that works either. Like, I'm sure it was different in, you know, late 90s, but I don't know how they have all this shit set up. I'm sure they went through last meal and all the procedures and set everything up, and then him just be like, I don't want to do this. And they're like, all right, cool.
Can you imagine how their families felt like showing up at the execution, and then he just chickens out, and they're like, yeah, we're not doing it today, guys. Like,
yeah,
how
what?
fucked is that?
Like, you fuck up all of their day for that, too. And that's when they're supposed to get closure.
He messed up their entire lives.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he destroyed, like, families. Like, I would have been livid. I would have been like, no, I want to see this man on, I don't care if he doesn't want to. You bring this man on the chopping block, or I'll do it my fucking self.
Yeah, that's what surprises me more than anything is, like, why didn't the state just be like, yeah, we're going to do this, you know?
I don't know what the laws were back then. I'll have to look it up, but he didn't get an execution, and what makes me even more angrier is that he died in prison from pulmonary disease and pneumonia.
Yeah.
I just feel like, what closure is there?
Right.
Other than, like, he's probably, you know, getting really toasty in hell, but, like...
He probably thinks he went out on his own terms more than anything.
So that is the story of Nashville's fast food killer, Paul Dennis Reid. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I don't think I'll be around doing these. We'll see. It just depends. But I say some off-the-wall shit, so I hope it's fun for everybody else.
Yeah. So, Quinn, this is temporary. Obviously, when the girls are here, it's a little bit more serious. Quinn is, like, he's not that serious of a guy. We're just telling you about the case and stuff. It's something that's really hard to talk about, and I don't think, you know, it's not something your average person is used to talking about. Like, that, honestly, it's tragic. It is painful, and, like, I wasn't even born when all this happened, and I just felt the immediate rage. So, us being funny right now is not us, like, being disrespectful. It's just how we cope with uncomfortable situations. Like, I probably am tearing up a little bit right now because of how mad I am. So he's just trying to, like, lighten the mood and help. But when the girls are here, it's going to be a little bit more serious. I do have somebody in line as a temporary podcast host. And like I said earlier, hopefully she works out. And hopefully she'll be in the next episode. But I will let you guys know what is going on. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, follow. And let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget we have a link tree that you can click on. It has all our linkies to social media. We have a merch shop.
Yep.
And I have a TikTok. then sometimes I make funny TikToks. If you'd like to follow that, I hope you think I'm okay. I'm just kind of awkward.
She's doing her best.
I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah. If you want to see more stuff with having me and it is cool, just let her know.
Yeah. Just let me know. I'll bring them back.
Yeah. I'm always around.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Bye.
Bye.